It wasn't the
pressure's on.
I know, right?
there.
Perfect.
Yeah, we normally do all of it live, like this part, like we're recording, this
No way.
editing crap, like real life stuff.
Oh, don't worry. When it comes to tech and all that, I think I just mastered the abacus and the typewriter. So, hey, I don't know how to edit, even though I have a degree in editing.
I know, for real. So hard.
All right, so we're ready. So welcome everybody to Lais and The Coach.
Yes.
We have a special guest. If you were with us last week, it's been a week. Normally it's a lot longer. We have the author of What If It Did Work, Omar Medrano, with us. Welcome, Omar, to the show.
Why, thank you. Thank you.
We were chatting for like a minute before it all started. So really quick, obviously we want to make sure that everybody knows who you are and where you're coming from before we get into some of the stuff that we already talked about last week. I guess we could go more in depth, but if you want to give us a rundown of how we got here, that would be great.
How we got here was just like any of your other clients. I mean, at one time, I was a skinny kid, and I thought being vegan was cool, and I gained like 70 pounds. And even all those documentaries are like, woohoo, lose weight and look great and all that. I knew there was a problem when I started crying watching Lifetime movies because the estrogen levels were high. So the struggle is real, and my limiting beliefs and all that, and my self-worth, I would lose the weight and then I would gain the weight. And there was times that I was working out 2-3 times a day, and I looked like a power lifter, and the numbers were good, but in general, women and all that, if you go to a bar or a restaurant or the mall or anywhere and go, oh, here's my snatch, here's my PR for my deadlift and all that, push press, push jerk, they'll look at you like you're crazy. Like, who cares?
You can't walk around with your stats.
No, only in Muscle Beach.
Right.
Can I go out there and go, hey, you know what? What's your clean? Anywhere else, being Latino, they say clean. They think I have a Janny Clean service or some other cleaning service.
Isn't that the truth? So what made you decide to write a book?
Well, it was 47 years in the making. It first came about when I went on my first date with my ex-wife. She's like, hey, I heard you're an author or a writer. And I'm like, I don't know where you got that from. And I actually do have a degree in journalism, and it was always that fear of who am I, and the self-worth issues that I talk about in the book and all that we all do. And it's like, I would always say, well, the only people that would read the book is my 2 kids and my mom and all. So, and I think there actually 5 books have sold. So,
well, we got one of them. So,
it's a great book.
It was I've said for a long time, and obviously I'm quoting Arnold, but Arnold said one time that the gym teaches you everything if you let it when it comes to life, right? Getting results and being fit and all of that requires work, requires discipline, requires time, effort, all the things that people hate to do. But if you do it long enough, the gym does teach you all of those things. And when I heard the title, it's one of the things that we've been talking about a lot. I don't want to say recently, but it's one of the things that we talk about the most, because there's so much hesitation behind doing the work, and it's and there really isn't an explanation behind it, right? It's like, and you tell your kids, like, just do this and do this, and it's like, the kids question, like, well, what if it works? It's kind of like you kind of give them that look, but it happens to adults all of the time. So when you were coming up with a title, what was your thought process?
Well, my thought process is everybody always focuses on the negative. Everybody's always, well, it's not going to work. If you ask your friends or anybody, hey, so what are you looking for if they're single? They'll give you a laundry list. Well, I don't want the person to be bipolar. I don't want them to be a narcissist. It's like, okay, well, you're a magnet because you keep on saying this is all this stuff. Now tell me, what's your list? And they'll look at you because they actually do not know what they want. And when it comes to even like creating their own business, everybody feels like, oh, the fear of failure, that I'm going to fail, that it's not for me, that, at the end of the day, I'm going to be on the New York Times front page saying like Omar Medrano failed in business and everybody's going to know. And it's just all these fears that were placed in us. But also everybody always has this notion that it's luck. Hey, they don't understand like I know you guys are going in August to the Paris casino,
To
but
Vegas, yeah, your favorite
yeah,
place, right?
but to do that, people don't understand you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice something every time in order to push forward, in order to get something great. But everybody has this microwave to success. 2-minute abs or 3-minute abs, or hey, let me starve myself with intermittent fasting for 4, 5, 6 days. And they don't understand it's a process. There's no finish line. There's no end credits.
When do you think that actually, because I remember growing up, like there were really not the notion of these shortcuts wasn't there. Like, the path to whatever required work still, and I just never grew up seeing that there was even for what we do now, like this, what we do and the lifestyle and all of that wasn't there because everything was supposed to be hard. It was supposed to be really hard to get into a good school. It was supposed to be really hard when you were there so you could get a good job. And the good job was going to be very hard. Like everything was very hard. When do you think it switched?
Social media. Because everybody, it's keeping up with the Joneses. Hey, buy my program. I was mowing lawns and I was cleaning pools. And then 30 days later, I'm living here in Malibu. Buy this program for only $29.99 and I'll show you the results.
And sure enough, right? Like, and doesn't that translate to everything else?
Hey, I lost 40 pounds within 30 days. Here, buy my magic pill. And, you can eat all the cake you want. You can sit your ass on the couch. And before you know it, you'll be in the Olympia in Vegas come September.
And isn't it interesting how, a full functioning adult with some reasoning could hear something like that and say, this is what I'm going to do.
Well, last year taught us that all these full functioning adults don't know what's going on.
Well, you had that right. If I told you guys 15 months ago, hey, you know what? The Vegas Strip's going to be closed. Disney's going to be closed. The whole world's going to be closed. No cruises and all that.
No one's going to question it. So
yeah, you'd be like, oh my God, there's got to be like 20 million dead. No. It's just like something that you can die from 0.01% chance. But don't worry, just stay inside for the next 15 months.
It is unbelievable how you're absolutely right. Like social media just took over the way everybody's thinking, like, or lack of thinking, because honestly, it's just this robot mentality of shortcuts and do it this way. And that's even if you're trying to do something, because most people aren't even trying.
Oh, exactly. And then it's all about luck. Like when I was married 2-3 years ago and I was posting family pics and all that on vacation, or even now they'll be like, oh, you're so lucky. It's like, well, you didn't see the A through the Z. You didn't see me working Monday through Sunday. You didn't see me working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You didn't see me cleaning toilets or fixing toilets because I didn't have the money or to hire a professional.
And that's the problem, in my opinion, with social media. It's the highlight squares of everyone's lives. So people are obviously only, showcasing their successes and their happiness, and they're not showing the other parts. So everyone just catches on to that. Look at how pretty she is. Yeah, she's done up for the first time in 15 days. You know what I mean? Like,
or my favorite is, oh, I love her, I love him, that's my soulmate. And then like 2 months later, things are complicated.
That's definitely what we've seen a lot of. The work is something that we talk a lot about, because obviously, for what we do, there's always a process and there's work. What is it that you think made it different from you going into what you were doing that didn't deter you from working?
Well, my mom was a single mom. She worked full time. She went to school full time. And after she got her degree, she was still working two jobs just to give me a better life and all that. That's why when people say I was born wealthy and all that, I'm like, oh yeah, Westchester, high end society of Miami right there.
It's so fascinating because the amount of times that we encounter conversations with people that seem allergic to the process or seem allergic to the work. When I first started reading the book, and you start with, just the idea of going into business by yourself. There's so many unknowns. Like when I decided to open a gym, the last thing that I thought is that I would play janitor and plumber and all the other hats that you have to wear as a business owner. And never once did I say, well, I guess this isn't going to work if I got to fix this toilet. What were some of the things that came up when you started your first business that may have seemed like right out of left field, but you just kept going through?
Well, I never thought I would have to literally sometimes work open to close or be a therapist to teenagers, and it's not just teenagers, because when adults are just as lazy as teenagers, it's always that mentality. Well, I'll work more when I get a real job, or I'll work more when I make 30,000. I'll work more. I'll really take this job seriously when I make 50,000 or 60,000. I think my first reality that I was a business owner and wasn't sexy was like 2 weeks into opening my store. I had a a girl call out, and I had plans because I was going to see Chuck Palahniuk, my favorite writer, author. He wrote Fight Club, and I was going to meet him and a book signing and all that. And it was nope, you're going to be right there at your store from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Wow. Wow. Those are the moments where you realize that this idea of being self-employed is
the glamorous idea. Get humbled real quick.
Oh, it definitely humbles you, because it's, everybody has this glamorous idea of, hey, I'm going to open up my own business. People are going to come in, word of mouth. I don't have to do anything. I mean,
they will come.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like right when Lehman Brothers collapsed, and the economic collapse a few, 12, 15 years ago and all that. And I'm like, oh, my business isn't affected like the first 30 days. And it was like, bam. And it was brutal. And I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old in preschool. So my ex-wife and I had to really like suck it up and make it work. And it was always that attitude of, I didn't want to go back to corporate America. One, I don't like, I know the line. I just don't like following the line.
Right,
So,
right. And it's always, I'm just gonna go back to something you said, this idea of, when I get a real job, or this notion of when this is like this, then I'll do it. You can go back to, well, when I make this much money, I'll be happy, or when I lose this much weight, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy then, because
exactly. Well, it's that self. We feel like I'm worthy if I have washboard abs, or I'll be good enough if I do this, or I'll be good enough. And it's like when you think, hey, I'm going to find happiness when I'm in a relationship with someone else, and everything and all that, we already have that. You are worthy, whether you're 300 pounds, whether you're 150, and just people have all these false hangups, and it's yeah. When it comes to either joining one of your programs or anything, it takes time. But Rome wasn't created in a day, and all that excess weight or not being in shape, you can't just wake up one day and go, hey, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in like a week.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that again, just even at the beginning of the book, that because for us it's always about the journey, right? Like that final destination is so hard to even think about, because it's an ever evolving process, right? Whenever we start something, it's like, all right, well, this is a goal, or this is the outcome. But as you're unraveling that path, that goalpost keeps moving. when you started your first business, can we talk about what you started, or are we not?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I don't care. I mean,
We want to talk about the Cold Stone story at some point, but
yeah, no, definitely. You
all
can
right.
talk
So when you
about
opened
it.
your first Smoothie King, were you
Yeah.
thinking of opening more, or?
Oh yeah, heck yeah. What they don't tell you in
Okay.
a franchise is when you open up one location, congratulations, you just bought yourself a job. So you need a scale, unless, I didn't want to be making batidos, smoothies. I wasn't. So yeah, we quickly had a scale. We opened up a second location. It wasn't in the book, but the second location failed because we didn't pick the right location. It was in um, it was by Broward North Campus, Coconut Creek. It looked like Cocoon. It was like 90-year-old people, and they're not thinking about smoothies, much less anything else. So yeah, we had to move the location, and that's where the Cold Stone.
Got it.
We moved there to Plantation.
And when that location didn't open, you decided to quit altogether, right? Just go back home and call it a day.
Oh yeah. No, I went home to sleep it off, and I got a poster board out, and I put a mansion up, and just
And it just came up.
wads of cash and a jet and all that, and before you know it, I was successful because I wished it.
It always happens. Should have written a course on how to do it in 30 days.
Exactly.
So I read the book first, and then I was telling her about the Cold Stone story because it's very near and dear to us, of how many people have either doubted or made fun of, or
Oh, that guy was completely making fun of me, and
It's so cute what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh, how nice! Like when you're gonna get a real job.
Yeah, that one's great.
Nobody believed me, and then believed in me. Even my own mom. My mom's like, "Oh my God, you went to school and you got your master's degree in journalism, which means that I can ask you if you want a tall or a grande." But my mom felt that I should have stuck with that or like a government job, and it's like, why? Thank you for thinking highly of me, Mom. But yeah, no, my neighbor, the Cold Stone guy, and he was always like very condescending. Oh, hi, how's it going? This and that. And he was talking to people that I knew all the time, and he was like, oh, they're gonna fold. I won't give them 6 months. I won't give them 6 months and all that. And I mean, we were taking a pound, and we were doing like $200 a day in sales and all that. And he gave me the motivation and the jet fuel to just propel and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. And it actually became one of the top stores in the system.
That's amazing.
It's so crazy what we cling on to when we need to. Like we've had some rock bottom moments that have been the catalyst of how we went up.
Exactly.
It's always like what you decide to cling on in that moment, and like, okay, this that feels shitty is going to be the thing that's going to make me go up.
Well, you have to ask yourself, am I going to prove them right, or I'm going to prove them wrong?
Yeah. And you know what? We say that, but the truth is that we're telling ourselves that. Like we make it about other people, but there's always that like inner voice subconscious that's like, are they right? Like,
oh yeah, completely. A lot of times you're like, oh my gosh, but if that was the case too, every time that everybody went through a breakup and somebody dumped them, they should have been like, oh, well, I guess I should go to the monastery. I
Right.
become a priest.
And the funny thing is how it all translates across the board. Because, again, we've gone through the business side of it where people are like, that's not going to work. You guys should do something else. You should close. We've heard all of that. But even on the health and fitness side, the amount of people that are in circles that don't support somebody's journey is just as bad. Like, you're not going to stick to that diet. You're not going to work out consistently. I give you a month before you quit or just try something else. That noise, those voices spread across, across something as important as working on your health and fitness, all the way to something as big as going on a business endeavor. And I think that those are always reflections of that person not, or knowing that they can't.
Well, our biggest doubters and critics are always the people that should be supporting us. It's always our friends, our families, our relatives. Usually they're not in your corner, and it's weird. Your biggest fans, your biggest supporters, a lot of times are actual strangers.
Yeah.
Is that
And
crazy?
and the funny part is you don't know how many times I've read that, seen that, heard that, and they're always there when things are bad, right? They want to be around when things are falling apart. To either
They
like
want to help you.
they want to help you, you know. But when things are going good, they're the first ones to either shy away or criticize or just
Or,
not
maybe-
or they'll give you the kudo and go, "Oh yeah, I knew you were going to do it."
oh, that's
all the
I
time.
knew you guys were going to be great.
But you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Thing, you know, like back to the lucky thing. They might not say you're lucky, but it's like, yeah, but you guys, you know, this is what you do, or you have all day, or you have this, and it's like there's always a reason why they can't.
Right.
Oh, it's always luck.
Yeah, I can't start a business because I have a job.
Right.
You know, it's incredible.
Well, there's never enough time, but there's enough time to watch 6 hours of TV and like 2 hours of social
Scroll through
media.
Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the stats on that are through the roof. Like the amount of time that people are dedicating to scrolling through their phone and binge watching Netflix is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, how many times have you seen like on a Friday, one of your friends, your social media friends, hey, can I have a suggestion on what can I binge watch all weekend? It's never like, hey, what business book, what program, what can I do to push myself further in life?
Ever. I've never gotten somebody request something. What are you reading, you know, now?
But even that, like, what can I binge watch? Like, you are choosing consciously to binge watch, not like, hey, I want to get into a new show.
Right. Or is there, you know, it's Friday night. I finally have a dead time. You know, is there a good movie that I haven't heard of? No, like I just want to soak into this for the next 48 hours. It's unbelievable.
Oh, well, I don't know why somebody would have, I mean, I'd be ashamed to go, hey, you know what? I'm just going to sit my ass and watch life go by, and I'm going to spend these next 2 days just watching crap on Netflix.
Right.
Crazy.
Which honestly is a great segue into how we started the last show, which was, and we have it highlighted, the one of the best things that I read, or one of the best questions was, what's wrong with being average? Like, I read it, then I told her, and then we talked about it. It's like a disease, you know.
Well, before nobody wanted to be average. Everybody was
right.
Screw that. I'm not average. I'm going to be better than the median. Now everybody's like, the majority of people are like, screw it. You know, what's wrong? Exactly. That's the problem is everybody's just want to be mediocre. People want the ninth place trophy, just like the first place trophy.
Right. And people are fighting to have these limitations, or fighting to not do a little bit more. Because these days it doesn't take that much to be a little bit better. You know, it's like everybody's fighting to hold themselves back.
And criticizing the people who are not, oh, they're so obsessed, or I don't want to live like that.
Oh,
You know?
well, here's a perfect example. I remember a couple of years ago, Howard Schultz, founder of Starbucks and all that, was thinking of running for president. And everybody blasted him because he was a billionaire, self-made guy, self-made billionaire. He didn't force people to go into Starbucks and buy coffee.
Right.
And all that. Everybody, hey, whoa. Like, what do we have? It's like we should shame the guy for being a self-made person. It's like, no. Like, you would think that'd be a great person to be a leader of a country, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we should just go straight C's across the board and just be average.
Right. And when you were, again, when you were putting the thought process behind the book together, like, do you see it in the business world across the board, where even the people that are starting businesses still aren't striving for that greatness, you know, to be the next great business?
Because everybody wants to comfort kills the most dreams. Comfort kills. That's why a lot of people just stay being average, because they're like, okay, I've got my weekends off, I got my one week out of the year or 2 weeks, and I'm 30 days away from a 3-day weekend, or in 4 months I'll go on vacation now, or I've got only 22 more years of doing this. And you know what? If you have people that say that, I mean, there's people like Warren Buffett who's like 90 and still working, because if you love what you're doing, you don't have a clock. You're not like, oh my gosh, I've got 6 more years of doing this.
Yeah, we've heard that.
And
I have 13 more years. I'm like, oh
we've
my
heard, we've
God.
heard that a lot. Like, oh, I just gotta, before I retire and start living. But by the time you start living, you're wasting away.
Exactly. Can you go on a European vacation at 70 and go climb the Coliseum and do all that?
Even if you did, the truth of the matter is that if you dedicated all that time to work, you didn't dedicate enough time to making sure that your body was good. So you're not going to be able to do it, because you're not going to be in a place where you could physically do it. But even if you could, you still wasted all that time not doing it.
But it's a different mentality. The person that's waiting till they retire to experience life is waiting for the weekend so that they can enjoy their week.
And there's no guarantee. I mean, this could be my last day here. So if I scheduled something out 20 years from now, then when I'm dying, hours or days or whatever, I have all that regret, thinking I had 30, 40 years ahead of me, and I didn't. And that's why we should all live in the now, and make things happen right now, and not wait for tomorrow, or the next year, or leap year, or January 1st of 2022, which will be my year.
Right.
Or until the situation is perfect and you have more time and you have more money.
Exactly.
It's like there's always something else.
Well, you guys hear this. Could you, I'm going to start losing weight January 1st, 2022. That's like, if you know somebody that's a drug addict, or he's gambling away his life savings at the casino and all that, and you go, oh, don't worry about it. We've got another 4 or 5 months till January 1st. He'll be good.
Well, he doesn't take New Year's resolution.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I said, and honestly, I got in trouble. There was a lady that came, and we were super busy, and I just would not take a New Year's resolution person. I said, listen, if you knew last month that you wanted to lose weight and you just didn't want to do anything, I'm sorry, I don't have a spot for you. And she got really pissed, and she called, I think it was Telemundo or somebody, and they called me to have an interview, because they wanted to like beat me down for not taking this person who was trying. And I spun it around. I said, listen, I hate to tell you this, but if in November, when you were having Thanksgiving dinner, you said to yourself, I'm going to wait 45 more days before I get started, you already lost.
Exactly.
I mean, you're starting the year on a bad foot already. It's this idea that something is going to change. Back to the being happy, right? I'll be happy when I get this. I'll be happy when January 1st rolls around. I will have the desire to do these things.
And I'll drive the parking lot of the Globo gym until I get the closest spot.
Right.
Literally.
Oh, it is unbelievable.
It's funny though, the gyms get packed in January, and then come like February 1st, when they didn't lose the 40 pounds, and they didn't get the 6-pack, and because they were on the elliptical machine, or they're on the stationary bike while they're drinking their frappuccino, they just didn't see the results.
And then binge watching whatever on the weekend, so you can't take away that time. So I mean, it's a never ending spiral of things that are not changing and progressively getting worse. And I think that we see it a lot when we go into a business and they do just a little bit more or a little bit better than somebody else. To us, it's like amazing, right? It's like, you've got our business, we're with you. But we go into so many other businesses where hello is difficult these days. And they just expect the business. They expect you to give them the money just because when it's hard to say hello these days.
Whenever there's a business out there that goes the extra mile, that's when I say, hey, I check in on Facebook to give them a plug. It's not because, hey, look at me, I'm at Caesar's Palace, or hey, look at me, I'm eating a hamburger at McDonald's and all that. I do it to give them a shout out.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people do it because they're, oh, hey, look where I'm at. Oh, wow, you're at Joe's. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Right.
None of us have ever been there. Thank you.
Right.
I wanted to talk about the Lamborghini part. where you, because I think it fits with fitness, with business, with family, with everything. I feel like that's a trend right now where everyone thinks that as long as they put out the vibes, they make a dream board, they post about it, talk about it, like that thing is going to happen, right?
Yes. Now, I believe in the power of intention, but the thing is, people don't understand there's work involved. Okay,
Yeah.
I want a Lamborghini. Okay, that I've got clarity there. Let's put out a date there. Obviously, I can't say I'm going to have a Lamborghini in a month unless I win the lottery or I go to the Caesar's Palace and pull the progressive jackpot. So, okay, let's say 8 years. Be specific on the date. Come up with a plan, an actual plan. Don't put it on a poster board. Yeah, you can put it on a poster board, but better yet, why don't you write it down every day before you go to bed? This is what I want. But then you also have to have a plan, a short-term, a mid-term, and a long-term plan on how to get there. And if it's not working, your plan, the crazy thing is a lot of people either quit or they keep on doing the same thing and not getting the results. You're going to have to resolve. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to change your strategy. You're going to have to change something. And definitely you're going to have to give something up. And anything you want. You want the perfect relationship. You want to be fit. You know, you plain and
Everything has a
simple.
price.
Everything amazing has a price. And I mean, that's why I got you guys for accountability. People see me taking pics and they're like, so are you taking a picture to post on Instagram or it's like, yeah, that's why, because this steak is just picture perfect. It's like, no, I sent it to my coach, my nutritionist.
Well, you know, it's again, we don't always have the ability to have a conversation with somebody who at least relates on that level. What makes you think that makes people not want to do the work? Like deep inside, you know, what's the thing there?
The actuality is we all have the answers. We all know. Life is simple. We just make it complex. We know how to lose weight, but we're waiting for the new diet. We're waiting for the new book. It's common sense. We know how to treat our significant other. We don't need to learn about the 5 languages. We don't need a new John Gray book. We don't need a new book on how to love somebody. It's plain and simple. What people fail to realize, people want to sit on the sidelines because they want to pretend they don't have the answers. We all have the answers. God gave us everything, all the ability. If you have a sound mind and sound body, you can create your own life. And if you think somebody else is going to be like, well, here, Omar, you're an amazing guy. You have great thoughts. You're a very kind man. Here, I want you to have an amazing life. No, everything requires work.
Do you think that the social situation that we're in now, or the social climate where people just expect things to be handed to them, do you think that those expectations are translating into
The lack of work?
into the lack of work?
Oh, shoot. Right now, there's people sitting on their asses for a whole year not working because they don't have enough pride in themselves that they're like, well, I'll just stay here on unemployment. I mean, I would never do that. And there's always people out there that, when they see somebody successful, they don't understand that success and money is infinite. You're not, if I make $1 million, it's not because I stole it from somebody or I hurt somebody. It's an infinite amount. I solved the problem or I helped enough people solve a problem. But I mean, you'll always get blowback. I got blowback from women that I used to date and all that. That would be like, you know, success is bad. Minimum wage should be 50K, you know, kumbaya. In actuality, the marketplace dictates how much we make. When we cry and all that because A-Rod made all that money or J-Lo made all that money, it's because the supply and demand, and they did it. And, you know, at the end of the day, when somebody's like, oh, well, why am I making only 30K? Exactly. Why are you only making 30K?
Yeah, I remember when the first stimulus stuff came out and I'm like, they're going to give these people how much money? I'm like, I know that right now things are closed, but things are still open. Like you can make so much more just by getting a regular job.
Well, there's there's a excess amount of jobs, but people aren't taking it. And it's funny because even like Uber, I remember when I was in Vegas for like all the time a few months ago, and you couldn't get an Uber because everybody was sitting on their ass. It would be like from the airport to a casino or to Summerlin or whatever. It was a 45-minute wait, an hour wait. And it wasn't because the place was slammed. It was because everybody's like, hey, I'm staying home. I'm collecting my check. Easy money.
Yeah, I mean, but it's certainly a different mindset, because I hear something like that and I'm like, first I would have driven. Second, I would have hired a couple people to drive cars. Like, in my mind, I hear something like that and I'm like, all right, we could fix this really quick.
But that's an entrepreneur mindset. It's like if you go to Barnes and Noble, fantasy and all that, there's like aisles and aisles and aisles. But for business,
one or two,
it's like one little aisle and all that. But if I wanted to read about dragons, or if I wanted to read about 50 Shades or something like that, it's everywhere. And that's, when people read, that's the stuff that they read. And it's like, well, how's that going to push you forward in anything?
Yeah. One of the things that I've been saying a lot lately to some of the people that go through our transformations is how much of a hiccup there potentially could be if and back to the title, if it did work. Like, I think that on some level, a lot of people are not willing to change because it would require them being different. How much of that do you see in?
Well, there's also that fear of success. How about if I change and I become a dick, or nobody likes me anymore, or I lose all my friends? It's that fear of the unknown. And actuality, people should be like, if I level up, I go to a different level, I become successful, I'm going to drag these people with me. They're going to come with me. To me, it's everybody's duty, instead of being like, oh, you know what? How about if I lose weight? And it's like, I've never worked out and gone, oh, I should just stayed home,
Right.
And he always said, any level of success, whether it be financial or physically, it's always just going to bring out more of who you already are. So if you're an asshole, but you don't act like an asshole, but then you have money and you're an asshole, then you were always an asshole.
Oh, completely. It's like that story. Oh, look at that old guy. He must be a nice old guy. No, if he was some asshole from New York and he was a bitter guy in his 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s, he's going to be a dick at 80.
Exactly.
But it's a stereotype that all old people are amazing and cuddly and all that. But yes, it amplifies. To me, it should be your duty to be like the next Howard Schultz or Warren Buffett, because you can help more people. Yes. You can help more people in your community, your church, your family, your friends. If you're making a shit ton of money compared to, I don't know how a person struggling is going to living paycheck to paycheck. He can't even donate time, much less donate anything else.
You can change generations. Everyone is so worried about the freaking recycling. Like, do big shit so that you could do big shit like with it,
Oh yeah, I did my part. My recycling comes out every Thursday, so I'm saving the planet.
Yeah, I'm such a good person. Like, so many people become vegans but are not, because they want to save the animals, but are not willing to make big moves that could impact so many people and animals or whatever it is people are into.
Well, people, a lot of times they just want significance. And that's where social media, that's why it is a drug. That's why your serotonin levels and all that in your brain, just, a cyber hug. If I put something goofy, oh, I'm feeling bad. Can you guys give me a hug, a cyber hug? And right. 20, 30 likes, and they'll think about me for 1 second, but I'll feel so blessed and loved.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think that the thing there is, if it works, if I do all this stuff and it actually works, I'm going to have to keep doing these things, because it's not a one and done.
Right.
And now all of a sudden this effort is going to have to continue. And I don't even know if I wanted to go that far, and I think it highlights a lot of you're not starting because if you do start and you do the things, back to what you said, what you're supposed to be doing and you get the outcome. Staying there isn't guaranteed. Now, now you got to taste more.
It's not like the movies where and you know, boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, and the credits. It's not, there's no finish line in life. And in fact, when I was running marathons and half marathons, you know, where's the finish line? There isn't one. There never is, because
That's
once
it.
you
You
hit
finish
that level,
finish that race, and you're thinking about, all right, next
Your
race, I'm
next
going to
thing.
do X, Y, or Z, or this is what I'm going to do next. And I think that sometimes people just aren't even starting because of that. They don't even want to contemplate what else it's going to require once you arrive. So why even start?
well, it it scares people in the sense that work scares people, time, sacrifice, and hurt. That whether the hurt, the pain of of giving something up, the physical pain of running something, the physical pain of doing a Spartan, the physical pain of lifting something, the physical pain of not eating those donuts, and you know, eating a balanced meal. You know, there's
The funny part is, you know, this whole work thing, right? Even all of
work thing.
this work thing, even everything that you just said, you know, we often discuss about the pain of not doing the things, right?
Mhm.
Like you're over here complaining about how you feel and how you look and your health and this. There's enough pain there to make you want to do it, but it's obviously not great enough.
Well, when the pain of staying the same outweighs the fear of the unknown, that's when change happens. That's when you're like, enough. When the person can't climb a flight of stairs without feeling like their heartbeats like at 160 beats per minute, that's when they're like, okay, now's that's usually motivation. You and I can go rah 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 rah, but it's
Right.
not until a person gets that pain that I'm tired. I'm tired of this job. I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm
So
tired of being
ultimately,
fat.
you know, I guess we could say you haven't really reached that threshold yet. If all you're doing is complaining about the things you say you want, and then not willing to do the work to get there, you just haven't reached that threshold of
Oh,
pain.
yeah, yeah. It's the pain pleasure
Because like
principle.
Tony said, it's usually just like that, right? The 3 years you spent thinking about it didn't matter. The moment you decide to make that decision is instant.
Well, it's not. It's there's no commitment until there's actual action. I can tell you right now. I'm gonna. We hear so many people say, I'm going to do this. I'm gonna. Well, then just fucking do it and shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, though, people say what they're gonna do on social media. Well, after everybody gave you the cyber hugs and all that, your brain already feels like you accomplished it. So, what's the point in actually doing the work now? And that's what people don't understand. Just shut up, do the work, and if you need the acknowledgement, post it after you've done whatever you've done.
I like the first part. Just shut up.
Shut up.
That would be the
Do
great
it.
hashtag. Just shut up. Do the work.
Yeah.
Well, because everybody, you know, I'm gonna.
Right. What so do you have plans of writing a follow-up, another book?
Yes, I'm actually writing. I'm in the middle of the book entitled Vacation CEO, because a lot of entrepreneurs think that they have a business or they own a business, but the business owns them, and they're a slave to the business, and they miss out on their kids'
Everything.
events, and they miss out on family events, and they miss out on things because they don't know how to scale, or they believe that they need to be physically at their business 24/7, and that's no life to live either. And that's why when you told me, hey, when are you at the store, I was always like, well, you know, just tell me when, because you know, I scaled myself where, you know, life's short. I'd rather be working out. I'd rather in any business you can scale. It's not just because I was in retail for all that time. It could be any business. And a lot of times people feel people have these delusions too, narcissistic, that the company can't survive without them. Well, Howard Schultz has been retired from Starbucks. Walt Disney's been dead for God knows how many years now, over 50 years. And it sure seems like Disney World's doing okay without
Right.
him.
And Bezos is gone too, right?
Well, half his money is, at least.
What with what you just said, we often talk about that work-life balance, and we often say that there is none, but mostly because the things that we are pursuing require there to be a lack of balance. We can't, for the things that we want to accomplish, we can't just work 9 to 5 and then at 5 o'clock turn everything off and then sit down and have dinner and now we're going to watch, like, we can't have that kind of balance.
No. But you guys do go on. You guys do go out of town. You guys do go to
right.
And you love you have that passion. Like when you're doing a boot camp in Miami and all that, you have that passion, and I can see it. It's not like you guys are like, oh shit, how long do we have to be
ever? And that was going to be my question, because for us, I mean, I'm sure you've heard, like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But I think it's the opposite. When you love what you do, you're freaking grinding 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like, because that's what you love to do.
Oh,
where do you find, or how is that your balance or lack of balance is structured, where you can dedicate enough time to do the work and then still have enough time to do the other things?
What I tell people is you have to sacrifice. I didn't, 19 years of being in business. No, I could have cut my time because I didn't have faith. And I was fearful that things wouldn't be great if I wasn't physically there at a store and all that. But in any business, it takes time, and there's no balance. You have to be obsessed in things. You have to be obsessed when it comes to losing weight. You have to take it as a life and death approach, in my opinion. You can't just be like, oh, well, I've got the next 10 years to lose 10 pounds. No, that's not how it works. If you want to be successful in business, you have to have urgency. You have to be obsessed, because you know what? There's your competitor out there. It's nothing personal. It's just business, and he wants to make sure you and your family's eating cat food.
100%.
Yeah.
What are as we want to make sure that everybody, when we started the show, all we talked about was working out and dieting, and then little by little, as we evolved a little bit more and realized that those things are great, but there's so much more that goes into it. What are some of the things that you hope that people get out of your book?
That you control your destiny. Quit being concerned about being on the sidelines and that nothing's going to work out. I mean, I remember bitching and moaning years ago that, one of my biggest regrets, because back in high school, I'm fearful of rejection. Women or girls had to ask me out because, oh my God, how about, they said no to Omar and all that. And it took me like 40 years to ask out a girl that I grew up with. I mean, I did that, been there, done that, but it's like, don't have a life full of regrets. You have everything within you. If you want to open up your own business, if you want to create that side hustle, if you want to learn how to dance, if you want, all you need, you have all the tools, and just do it. And it might not look pretty. Whether it's being on social media and just doing videos and plugging yourself, promoting. The thing that at the end of the day, I want my legacy to be, well, with my kids, I want them to go, he was an amazing dad. And with everybody else, if I wanted to write a book that would make me millions, I would write fiction, because quite frankly, that's what people want. People want to read bullshit. People want to see bullshit and live in bullshit. But at the end of the day, if I helped out anybody, or years from now, they tell when I'm long gone, they tell my kids, hey, you know what? That book got me off my ass. That book got me to change my life and my family's life. That's, at the end of the day, I want people to change, to be the best version. And we're never the best version, because we should always strive to be a better version today than what we were yesterday.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't make you want to read the book, I don't know.
So where can people pick up the book?
As of now, only Amazon. So Jeff Bezos. So me and Jeff Bezos, un cubano and me, we're tight. So unless anybody knows a publisher that wants to pick up the book, and a publishing agent, but it's $9.99. So they can do two things. They can either spend $1,000 and buy 2 tickets to see Bad Bunny. That's not going to change your life. You might get some, or you might not, but but at the end of the day, that's a $1,500 investment, and you're going to feel bad after you hear Mia and all that. And it was all 1,500 or $9.99, and they can buy this book. And each chapter, take notes. There's things to do. There's an action plan. But the book does not work. I guarantee you, this book doesn't work. Tony Robbins' books don't work. Grant Cardone's books don't work. What works is you, the person.
100%.
I love that.
Great.
I love that so
Omar, well, it was a
much.
pleasure chatting with you today.
Thank you.
I think that this is one of those episodes that, you know, we can go back to and get a lot of sound bites from, and I hope that a lot of people get a lot of things from it. If you are listening to this on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, do the things that people do on podcasts.
Like, share, comments.
Do all that
Comment
stuff.
and promote. And use you guys. Like I said, I saw. Well, we've had a relationship for a while, but at the end of the day, like I can hold myself accountable. But I had that Catholic guilt, like being out of town and all that, and you know, telling you, hey, you know what, I fucked up.
Right.
Because a lot of times it's when you tell somebody, whether it's a coach and all that, hey, I messed up. You already feel bad. Other people could be like, oh, well, fuck it. I ate bad for 3 days. It's only going to be a week. 1 week becomes, maybe, you know, it's only 2 weeks. Then it's only 10 pounds, and it's only 20 pounds. Oh, it's November. I'll just wait till January.
Right. And then you're on that cycle again. It's exactly how it happens.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah, literally.
And I'm completely blessed to know both of you and all that. And, you know, we're looking forward to more and more memories and relationships.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you on again. And until next time, you know, we wish you the very best. Lots of success with the book.
Thank you.
And we will be in touch.
All righty. Ciao.
Awesome one.
Bye-bye.